Let's turn our attention to the Rockets because they wasted, a golden opportunity to beat the Warriors without Kevin Durant. Remember, he went down late in the third quarter of Game 5. Splash Brothers combined for 60 points in Game 6 to close out the series in Houston, which means it's time for another round of Blame Pie. Richard, you're in the pie seat today.
Let's go.
So tell us, who gets servings of the pie? And Scottie and I will tell you when you're wrong.
Okay, I got 33%. Mike D'Antoni.
That is very exact.
Yes, 33%. This is a pie, right? This is how we cut them in my house. I got 33% James Harden.
Okay.
I got...
Give me some D'Antoni, though.
Why? I really want to get to James Harden, but okay. This is why D'Antoni. He's had 3 MVPs, right? He's about to have a top 2 guy this year in James Harden, and he's only been to 1 conference final. And it's because, look, he plays a great brand of basketball. It's fun to watch, but is it championship basketball? Right? If you want to get to the postseason, you want to have a little bit of fun, fine. But is it championship basketball?
And I totally agree with a lot of what you're saying. I do blame Mike D'Antoni. I think the game plan of what they brought in Game 6 was not efficient. You've lost KD, and you have a chance to go at this team. You have to be more effective. You have to change your game plan. And as Richard said, this is a guy that's been very consistent in what he does as far as his offense. You watch him create MVPs year after year after year. Never change what he does. Well, in the playoff, you have to make adjustments. And if you don't make an adjustments and you continue to do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. And that's why you didn't see any difference in who Houston was in that Game 6, because they didn't make any adjustments. You lose a guy like Kevin Durant, defensively, you have to make different adjustments. There's no way guys like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson should be getting as many touches in that game as they did.
So do you think that D'Antoni is the coach of the Houston Rockets next season?
I think he is.
I think he is, too, because I think Houston loves the regular season winning. I played there.
Yeah.
And they're great fans, but there's not a lot of pressure to win championships there. And I hate to say it that way, but it's just how they're bred there. And they're going to allow him to coach as long as he wants. He's winning 60 games a season, so, hey, have at it.
Well, they won some in between yours. I know yours are so thick, it's hard to see through all of those. But yeah, obviously, I was going to say, obviously things have changed since then. You said James Harden.
I say James Harden because, look, he is one of the best basketball players on the planet. If not number 1, he's top 3, he's 1 or 2. You can make any argument. He was going to take him, right, as the 2nd pick in the NBA draft this year. But I just think
for his house.
I just think James Harden, I was talking about life. I think James Harden, to me, is such a dominant player, and he does so many good things, but there's just too many of these moments that we just are looking for him. And last year, they had a built-in excuse, right? They were like, well, we lost Chris Paul, and we were up 3-2, and then everyone pointed to the amount of threes that were missed, right? But he was like, I thought if they would have had Chris Paul, the way Chris Paul was playing, they would have won. But then what happened? This year, KD goes down.
I mean,
you're up, right? You have a chance in the second half, and then you go home and you lose both of those games. You can't even force a Game 7 without Kevin Durant. That means you are so far actually away from the mentality and the talent of Golden State that you still can't get it done.
I think we have to give James a lot of the blame because we've talked about his style of play throughout the regular season. And we've said numerous amount of times that's not going to work in the playoffs. That's not going to win in the playoffs. But he continued to display that type of basketball throughout the game. And we watch how during the playoff that he was fighting against the shot clock a lot of times. We didn't see that during the regular season. So everyone that watched the Houston Rockets knew that this was what they was going to have to weather. And you play against a good team like Golden State defensively, they're not going to let you get shots off down the stretch.
I mean, so I give you credit. You were one of the loudest voices. You were like, wow, James Harden looks so great right now, and wow, this isn't going to work in the playoffs, and pretty much that's what happened. Who else is getting the rest of the blame pie?
Daryl Morey. I believe Daryl Morey also gets 33% because, look, he is the mastermind. He is the person that orchestrated the trade to bring James Harden in. He's the person that brought Mike D'Antoni in. He is the one that's facilitated the system. The whole, we only want threes or layups, nothing in between. It doesn't matter how many threes we shoot, how many threes we miss. I want to keep doing this. And it's like Daryl Morey with all the basketball that he's played in his life. Right now, it's a joke. Sure. It's a joke. Daryl Morey is one of the best GMs in all of sports, our presidents in all of sports. I'm just giving him a little bit of mess right now because at some time you got to look internally and like, what can we do? If your only goal is to beat the Warriors, then what do you have to do? You have to kind of tweak some things. And obviously under this current thing, it's not working.
I'm not going to blame the GM.
Oh!
other enabling bodies that was
Right.
out there on that basketball court who could have made a difference. They could have made a huge difference.
Well-
could have gotten the ball out of James Harden's hand.
And my 1%
Capella
is
could have-
everybody
could have
else
played
left,
better.
though.
PJ
How
Tucker
big
could
is your
have played
pie?
better.
No, but my 1%, there's
Oh, you got the
33, 33, 33, and 1.
and the 1%.
1% is
that.
everybody else.
Aw,
These
look
are
at
the
that.
3 figureheads. These are the 3 guys.
I'll give
that-
him 1%.
1%?
Yeah, you give Daryl
So
Morey
you're
1%.
switching the 1% and the
Look,
33%.
yeah,
I just
All
think
right.
that
I'll
they're
give it
all
to him
so
1%.
good.
It
James
was-
Harden MVP.
He did bring in some good groceries.
Great, yeah.
I will say Chris Paul, I thought, had his best game of the series
Yeah.
in Game 6. Didn't have a good Game 5.
Well, I'm not blaming him.
I'm asking the owner, though, a question of this team because the owner bought this team and made it it was pretty clear. Look, he hasn't come out and said it. This was not on the record. But if you look at the moves they made, it really seemed like they wanted to get rid of some of their luxury tax money and not be paying so much. And there were some cuts made. And then Daryl Morey, I thought, did a very good job over the season, scraping and getting guys from
Great
here and
job.
there and all of that
Yes.
stuff. But the bottom line is, if the ownership doesn't want to pay the extra, and it is extra, that it takes to win a championship, which is what we're talking about
Yeah.
here, you are probably not going to take down one of the greatest teams of all time. And that is a decision they have to make. The owner was in the hallway after that game. I'm sorry that he was in the hallway
He
after
was
that
chirping.
game. Right? We're going to make it. This is going to change. This is going to change. He's the one who has to decide if that's going to change. It's up to him.
But agreed. But if they had all of that, they didn't have to play against KD.